Good evening, folks. Welcome to Isshinryu Today. We're live here on your Sunday evening. We thank you for tuning in with us. We got some exciting news about the program. Boy, I'm just tickled to death. We're just growing. Things are going good. The program, all your supporters, everything's going great. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're being entertained. But more important than that, I hope you're learning a lot about the Isshinryu system and its Okinawan culture. I got a little surprise for you tonight. As you can see, I've got something in my background, and I'll talk about it here in a little bit. But welcome to Isshinryu Today. Thank you for tuning in on your Sunday afternoon and sharing it with us for about an hour of your time. Uh, First thing we'd like to do is give out our shout outs, and then we'll get to our announcements. Our first shout out, of course, tonight goes to our founder of our system, Tatsuo Shimabuku. We thank you so much for you sharing your knowledge and your skill and your culture with us so that we can share it for the futuristic students to come and the growth of Isshinryu karate. We know you wanted to spread the dream of your culture, the dream of your style, and I want you to know that we are doing our best to preserve and protect that lineage, line, heritage in which we come from, in honor of you. So thank you, Tatsuo Shimabuku, for sharing your dream with us, sharing your system with us, and then on to our next shout out, the first generation students, the students that served our country first and foremost. We thank you, and we're always grateful for your service to our country, so that we're able to do things like what we're doing here tonight. You fought for our freedom. And if you don't know the history of the battles that these gentlemen were in, it was for our freedom. Honestly, it truly was. And they fought for our freedom. And not only that, being as young soldiers and coming back to the United States, bringing this system and this culture with you, that you learned so much to love while you were over there, that it was a passion of yours and it was a compassion of yours to spread it to other people. So we thank you to all the first generation students that helped start Isshinryu Karate in the United States. We are forever grateful and indebted for this because these things have changed my life as the lessons as I learned. Moving on to the second generation students who helped spread it throughout the United States. Once it got here, then they had to teach students. It had to take a while to teach a lot of students and get them up to par to where they could teach and go open their own schools. So we are honored that the second generation students did that. It could have stopped with the first generation students. It could have stopped with the second generation students. And we now know that even now it's being promoted and presented by third and fourth and maybe fifth generation students. So thank you so much for second generation students for spreading this throughout America. Without that, I wouldn't be here tonight talking about Isshinryu Karate, the one heart system. So I thank you so much. And that's our shout outs for this evening. I want to give a shout out to Miss Rebecca. She's got us lined up with some things that are so exciting to hear about. She's got some contacts and she's got a lot of announcements to make tonight on the program. Different activities, different events. People's invited us down. Um, we can't wait. We can't wait. This show is just growing, and it's not just her and I. It is you as a community. Us Isshinryu
Yeah.
family is growing together by using Isshinryu today. So I like the way it's growing, and I like the things that's being done because this is your platform to share your knowledge, your thoughts, your skills for others. Even in the future, they can go back and watch these programs and maybe get an answer or something that may help them. But one thing that I do want to talk about is the roundtable meeting next week. I'm so excited to have the masters come on. I haven't got a full schedule yet, but I would love to have you on. If you're an instructor or and you want to be on the program and you want to share your knowledge of these 8 codes, we're going to be reviewing all these 8 codes. But I'd like to get many different perspectives on these 8 codes, not just mine or but I'd like to get everybody's because we're doing a big piece of history right here because from 10 years from now we can go back and look and say, look, this was Master So and So on here talking about the 8 code. we'd love to have you on the program. Please share with us. It doesn't cost you anything except an hour of your time. So we'd love to have you on the program, sharing your knowledge and your skill. We'll get everything set up for you. All you'll have to do is click a link, and that's it, and you'll be right on the program, airing live. And I'm before I spoil the good news, I'm going to send it over to Miss Rebecca for our announcements this evening because we're also airing live on a different platform tonight, and I'm gonna have her tell you all about that. So, guys, thank you for tuning in to Isshinryu Today. Kyle Forrest here. Can't wait to talk about the last code of Isshinryu and then get things lined up for our roundtable meeting. Immediately after the roundtable meeting, the week after, we're going to have live classes on here. So we'll be doing a live workout on that next the week following next. Week after next, I guess you'd say. Sorry about that. I got a little tongue tied there, but it's okay. Um, gotta have fun. So, Miss Rebecca,
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
take off with
twirling.
the announcements and tell everybody what's going on in Isshinryu Today community and world.
I am excited. Hello, Isshinryu Today on this wonderful Sunday. Even though it's raining here, we're alive and breathing, and that's still a good thing. So, uh, one of the um, one of the exciting things that I had posted the other day was for everybody to stay tuned and to watch us today, whether you're watching from my Facebook page or our YouTube page. But we are now streaming live right now on a different social media platform, and we are totally excited. So, if anybody from Twitch is watching us, welcome to Isshinryu Today. Hello, Twitch. Hello, people from Twitch. Now, we understand that, we're kind of an older type generation here. We're not really used to Twitch. We kind of looked into it. We understand there's a lot of younger viewers, but you know what? It don't really matter what age you are when it comes to learning about Isshinryu. You can be any age. It don't matter. So if you happen to be on Twitch, follow us, subscribe on there. If you're watching us from YouTube, smash that subscribe button and hit that like button, which our subscribers are growing on YouTube, and that makes me extremely happy because I set that up myself. Yay! And and I know, like I said, the Facebook was getting kind of wonky, and they did something with the group. So as of right now, I'm looking on my phone, and I'm going live from my Facebook page. So you guys that don't really want to get with YouTube or having problems with YouTube, hook up with my Facebook page. You can see us right there, being all happy and giggly and everything else, sharing all kind of knowledge. Okay, so that was the exciting thing. We're now on Twitch, and I have a ticker that's going to go right across the bottom of the screen. It's going to have our Twitch thingy where you can find us, our Twitch link, I guess you want to call it. That was some of my exciting news. Now, right quick, um, we are less than 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks from the uh, Middle Tennessee tournament. That will be May 18th. That will be in Crossville, Tennessee. We are very excited at Team Kia because we have not only my happy self, but we have some of our other students going, and I am so excited. We have been working so hard, and Mr. Sensei host Kyle Forrest can verify that we have been really busting it so that we can do good at that tournament here in 2 weeks. And I'm so excited I can't stand it because I'm ready to go. Okay, so May 18th, that's the Middle Tennessee Isshinryu Open Karate Games. If anybody wants to go to watch or compete, you can still register, but that's going to be in Crossville, Tennessee. You can go to the Lebanon Dojo page, Facebook page, and they will end up having. You might be able to go to the Facebook events and look it up that way, the Lebanon Dojo, but they'll end up having information there as far as how you can get the registration form, how you can get signed up, and all this type of stuff. June 15th is going to be the Body Armor State Games at Concord, North Carolina. I'm excited about that. Um, if any of our students are watching, I do have the card that they send in the mail that's advertising the state games. I will be bringing that to class up until a couple of days before the state games. That way, everybody can get the address. You can get the link for the state games. Then that way, you can register online. They don't have registration at the door. You've got to register online for that. Right now, it's I think $65 to register. If you register, then they might have a pay at the door. They might have a pay at the door, but I know it's going to be $70 then. So either way, it's still a good tournament to go to. I'm going to that too. I guarantee it. But I'm just excited today. I'm all out of breath because I'm excited. We've got all this good stuff going on, and our Master Kyle here is fixing to share some great knowledge today. Um, June 22nd, Hatcher's Martial Arts Dojo. That will be in Maryville, Tennessee. They are going to have a seminar with Bill Superfoot Wallace. And I'm really hoping that we get to go to that. That will be located at 1403 East Broadway Avenue, Maryville, Tennessee. You can go to, I have the flyer for that in our Facebook Isshinryu Today podcast group. There, you can scroll down through there and actually find that. Um, oh, fiddle. I can't get my thoughts straight today. You can go into there and look down to find the flyer for that so you can have more information as far as how to register and stuff like that for that. September 14th, we have the Circle of Masters. That will be at 201 East Reed Road, Anderson, North Carolina. September 14th, that will be hosted by Grandmaster Phil Little. That is an event that you guys and girls, brothers and sisters of karate, you do not want to miss that. And you know what? Even if you don't study Isshinryu, come on anyway. It's all about learning the knowledge and sharing knowledge and it's just something that you don't want to miss. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I do believe as of right now, I'm about out of breath. And that's all my announcement.
All right, guys. I
Back to
think she kind
you.
of I think she kind of broke up there at the end with the Circle of Masters. That is September 14th, 2024. That's located in 201 East Reed Road, Anderson, South Carolina. That'd be at
Anderson,
the
South Carolina.
Anderson YMCA, and that is hosted by my sensei,
Yes,
Grandmaster Phil Little. Guys, listen, if you've never been to Circle of Masters, do not miss this
you
opportunity
got to
to
go.
go. I'm telling you,
Go.
this thing is off the chains. It's so good. There's so much knowledge. There's so many caliber of people there, top notch caliber people that's with wealth of knowledge that you can learn from.
Mm,
Questions from different lineage lines. As far as I know, right now, when I talk to Sensei, I think we may have a representative. I know we've got three representatives from uh, the Four Horsemen. I don't know if we've got the fourth. I know we've got Don Nagel being their representative being there, Harold Long representative being there, and I think we've got some coming from Washington, Tacoma, Washington. Maybe Sam can make it down. The Steve Armstrong representative, I'm thinking we've got some Harold Mitchum representatives that are coming from that lineage line as well. So, guys, this is a great event with great
nice.
knowledge, and one of the best historians I know will be there. Master Neil Simpson from Florida will be there, and he's been on the show. And guys, I'm telling you, if you want any information, you want to know something about your lineage or something about your heritage and things, Circle Masters is the place to be, guys. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. I don't care where you're from, who you're with, whatever. Get your butts down there in Anderson, South Carolina. Enjoy a great day of Isshinryu training with your Isshinryu family. Isshinryu Today will be there. We'll be there live in full force every year. So, supporting my sensei, Hachi Phil E. Little, and I love him dearly, and I got to give a shout out to him. Um, and speaking of him, you can get the reference book that we use right here on the show. You contact Hachi Phil Little, and this is the book that we use. It's called Isshinryu Karate, The Ultimate Fighting Art by Harold Long and Tim McGee. And that's what I read from, and that's what I pull my material from. And it is a great resource. I call it the Isshinryu Bible because there's so much information in there. And there's some funny stories in the back of this book. And if we have time today, I might read one or two of them. Just because this is Harold Long's what he wrote down in his book, and Tim McGee of their experiences, with Tatsuo Shimabuku. And it's a great book, guys. I'm telling you. But you can contact Hanshi Phil Little. If you can't get in touch with him, you can contact me. We can get these books ordered for you. Um, and that way you can follow along when we do the show. So on with the show. We're up to the 8th code already. I can't believe we're already here talking about the 8th code of Isshinryu Karate. And I hopefully that this 8th code you've been doing for the last 8 weeks or more, because we had to do some shows twice just to get, because we got so excited talking about them. But this is the 8th code, and it is the ear must listen in all directions. The ear must listen in all directions. So hopefully, we're putting it out there in the directions it needs to be heard by. So we're putting it out there as many directions that we possibly can in the dojos, at seminars, at tournaments, um, everywhere that you go online. Isshinryu Today, uh, like Matthew Blair does a show on YouTube. Michael Calandra does a show on. We're putting it out there. So hopefully that the ears will listen in all directions. And we all have various different ways of approaching the things, but we have to listen to all directions. Okay. So I told you I was going to share something special with you tonight. I'm going to do that just now. Behind me in the background, you'll see this thing right here, and it says the Codes of Isshinryu. Now, this was donated to me by Master Dan Price. And Dan Price is no longer with us. He was a good friend of mine, and we did his promotion uh, one year at the Circle Master. I think it was 2 years ago. We did the promotion of Dan Price to 6th-degree black belt in Isshinryu Karate. And the next week after he received that, Master Price passed on in his sleep. So guys, we never know when our time's due. But I will always cherish this because he made this for me and he donated it to my dojo as a token of appreciation for everything that Team Kia done for him. And we got to promote him to 6th Dan. And unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he is in spirit. And we want to keep that alive. But I'm going to show you this. This is the 8 codes of Isshinryu that he made for me. And if I can get it lined up with the camera right, I may have to adjust the light just a little bit.
It's fine.
It says the codes of Isshinryu, and you'll read them. If you'll see, you'll count on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then they go down. That's the way they write it. But here's the kanji for it, and then at the bottom you'll see that it's all the 8 codes written in English.
Nice.
But that is really nice, and Dan Price made that for me. I wanted to share it with you guys tonight here on the show because that's what this episodes of the shows have been about, is the codes of Isshinryu. So he made that for me, and I shared it in my dojo, and I brought it home because I wanted to share it with you guys tonight. And speaking of being in the dojo, after our roundtable meeting, like I said, we're going to go out into the dojo, and
Yeah.
we're going to do a live class with live training, and we hope you'll tune in and join in with us on that. So, as a recap, we've talked about the 8 codes of Isshinryu Karate, and just so you don't forget, I'm going to recap them, and then we're going to talk about tonight's material. The first code, code 1, a person's, and I'll read it from Mr. Price's thing he made for me. So, a person's heart is the same as heaven and earth. The blood circulating is similar to the moon and the sun. The manner of drinking and spitting is either hard or soft. A person's unbalance is the same as weight. The body should be able to change directions at any time. The time to strike is when the opportunity presents itself. The eye must see all sides, and in the night, the ear must listen in all directions. So I want to start with the ear must do some things. Let me get that to stay there real. Give me just a second. There you go. I got it. Hey, how about it? The ear must listen in all directions. The ear must do something. It must listen. So that is an action. And anytime there's action, there's noise. So when you're listening for combative techniques, this is some exercises that we used to do at our dojo a long time ago, and we still do them, but just not as often. But we will go back to doing that because um, we want to merely respond to events instead of instead of reacting to events. We don't want to outguess our opponent. We want to respond to what we hear. So what we used to do was cut off all the lights, and then we used to throw some things, and then we would try to point our bodies in the direction to where we heard that noise. Um, and then once we got everybody got settled and faced into the direction that they thought the noise was coming from, each person had to go down the line and say what they thought the noise was, the object was that was maybe thrown into the floor. Was it a pen? Was it a fork? Was it some type of metal? Everything had a different noise, and it sounded different from different directions. So we'd start from the back, and then we'd do some from the front, one to each side, and it had a different sound depending on how you was positioned toward the object that was being thrown, if that makes sense. But the ear must listen in all directions, which means in combative techniques, you should be able to recognize the sound of maybe a knife unfolding, or there's a different sound if somebody's chambering a gun. That could be important to survival things. That it if you make a quick turn and look, that could be a gesture of an attack. But if the ear hits it and you drop to the ground, that could be a submissive action, and you may be trying to get somewhere of safety because depending on the noise you've heard. One thing that Halloween does is you go to these jump scares, these haunted houses and stuff. You can kind of hear what's going on in the next room, even though you're focused on what's going on in the room you're in. You can kind of hear. Wait, I hear a chainsaw over there. I know that's a chainsaw because I heard it before, and I know it's coming from that direction. So not only does it give you the hearing, it also gives you a direction. It gives you an object into what's being used, and it also helps you. It's quiet over here, so my escape may want to be this way if I'm engaged in some type of physical activity. We must remember where we come from in order to know where we're going. Is it safe behind you? Do you hear a ruckus behind you? You don't want to turn blindly into that. You may hear glass breaking. If you're in a bar and people are drinking and you hear a glass break, everybody in the bar turns and looks at that glass because they know that somebody just shattered a bottle, and they want to make sure that it hit the floor and it was an accident and not somebody's holding a shredded glass bottle ready to cut everybody in the building. So the ear must listen in all directions when it comes to combative techniques. If you ever noticed, if you practice in silence sometimes, where it's real quiet, you can notice the difference between a punch and a kick if you listen to the sound that it generates. The sound of those vibrations gives off a different ring, whether it's a punch. It may be a quick punch, it may be a fast punch. You can also tell the difference between the hits of how someone's hitting someone. It may be a thud, or it may be a smack, it may be a wind blowing, it may be, it gives off different tones. And you need to train those tones so that you recognize those, because once you recognize those tones, the mind starts to process where you need to be. So that goes to the visual. The ear and the eyes kind of work together in this sense. But if it's real dark and you can't
Well,
see, you must rely on your ears to hear, um, so that you can hear the things that's going on in your house. You can tell what room they're in. You can tell maybe what drawer. We get accustomed to the sounds of our own house, some drawers in my cabinet sound a little different than other drawers. I can about tell what drawer you got something out of. Um, but these are things, and one thing that impresses me the most is a dog. A dog can hear. I mean, they can hear a siren when we can't, and they will let you know about. And you pretty much can prepare yourself that there's a siren shortly to come to where you can hear it. But the ear must listen in all directions. So, in a combative technique or self defense techniques, we must prepare ourselves. When you get the kata and you start learning kata and you start practicing in silence, you start getting a certain rhythm for yourself. And you can tell if you're in sync with yourself or if you're unbalanced, if you will, with your movements, all depending on the sound that you generate from doing the kata. Maybe it's your feet going across the floor in a certain rhythm. Maybe it's your hands going in a certain rhythm. So hearing in all directions is very crucial. That's going to a little bit into the physical side of the hearing in all directions, but the ear must listen in all directions. Let's talk about mental side. Let's talk about preparing. Identifying is the first thing. Identifying what the object is or what the noise is or what's being said, the manner in which it's being said, the tone in which somebody has said something, the question that's being asked. You must hear this. And this is one of the problems I have with like text messaging. Somebody can text message. Let's say if we'll just keep it simple. Let's say Rebecca text message me, "I love you." Okay. Well, there's different levels of hearing "I love you." One may be a desperation of "I love you. I need you here quickly. I love you." That could be her only manner of communicating with me. Okay, and that's one thing I have against text messages, the ambiguity that it has. It doesn't show emotion, unless they send it with a little sticker. Then I know, okay, she's fine. She sent it with a happy face or whatever. There's different levels of I love yous, and I'm just using I love you guys as I'm not trying to teach a love story, but I'm just using it. When someone says something, it gets worse when someone makes a comment to you, and it may be that you're taking it as criticism when it's not. They didn't mean it that way. But to hear them say that, "Hey, Master Jimenez, thank you for joining in with us this evening." To hear them say that, hearing that voice, you can tell by the manner of their speech if there is a problem that they need your immediate attention, or if there is a sincerity of depression where they just need somebody to talk to. If I sent Becca and I said we need to talk just in a text, automatically by reading the text, she's going to assume something bad because what do you mean we need to talk? What I do wrong? No, but if I call her on the phone and say, "Hey, honey, listen, we need to talk," it's different in the tone, in the manner. So I would suggest, before you jump off the thing, you have to hear all directions and you have to really process that information through all directions. That's why I like hearing someone's voice. That's why I like hearing different sounds because it helps me automatically relate to my mind. That was a fork. That was a knife. That was a pen clicking. I'll do it for you. I don't know if you can hear it. That's a pen clicking. Um, Different sounds you seem to recognize. The reason why I say that is there are code words that you listen for as a martial artist. I can have a conversation in a restaurant with, and I've done this before, and I've also done it with when I was training my lady self defense class. I would go out to Walmart and I would have them park somewhere, and I would have another person that I've already talked to just walk behind these ladies as they're going into the store. Um, and what I mean by that is I wanted them to send out trigger words that you subconsciously should pick up on. And what I mean by that is two ladies walking in the store, they're having a conversation, blah, 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 ha, 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 whatever, or men, whatever. But the person walking behind them says trigger words like knife, gun, hurt, beat, rape, dangerous trigger words that when you're having a conversation for somebody, you may want to pick up on. And then it should draw your attention. And you should change your communication maybe to a different location, or maybe you should continue to move out of the way and then say, look, I'm sorry. Once I get time to talk to you, I'm sorry, but let's go over here for just a second. I want to see this. Walk over there in private and say, look, person walking behind us said some serious things that concerns me. And I want to make sure, I'm not sure if we want to go in here or not because I heard knife, I heard gun, I heard assault or beat, I even heard rape. Maybe we should change our location at this time. Maybe we'll work our way back to the car and get out of there. So the direction in which you hear from, don't go that direction. You may hear a knife, the knife unfolding. You may hear a gun chamber. You may hear people arguing. You may hear glass breaking. You may hear different things and you recognize these sounds. That's why we did the drills in the dojo so we could recognize in what general direction there was the object being thrown onto the floor. And what general direction was it the safest to exit? Was it quiet behind me? That's a good indication that no one was there. So what we would do is when we throw the object, somebody to the right of us, far off in the room, would be shuffling feet. The other one would be hammering something with a hammer. I don't know, any type of noise, clanging wood together. But there was always a silent area. And that was the direction in which we wanted to travel. Not turn our backs, but we would change our direction to that travel because most of the time, if it's quiet, it can be safe. Not all times, but most of the time. You stand a higher percentage of it being that way. The manner of someone hearing someone's breathing. Are they heavy breathing? Are they already heightened sensitive? Do they need your help? That's why I said the manner, the ear must listen in all directions. You know, when you read it, like I said, going back to the text message, the ambiguity of text is not there. The emotion of the text is not there. It's what I'm trying to say. And so be careful when you read into it and you automatically draw conclusions on what someone is saying. You know, if I tell her we need to talk, that may not be a bad thing. It could be a bad thing. Yes, it can. That's a possibility. But then again, it could not be a bad thing. Maybe we need to talk because maybe I just need to hear her voice. Maybe I'm going through. Maybe I'm just a little down right now, and hearing her voice lifting me up. Maybe I just needed to hear her voice. So don't be scared to call versus text. Is what I'm trying to say. And it's hard to send out an alert through text unless it's you know, if you send 911, everybody assumes, oh my God, they need the police and the fire trucks. It's an emergency, 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 emergency. So be careful with how you communicate and be careful. I would rather hear it. I'd rather hear her say, I love you than I love you. Is that the last time she tell me I love you? Is she leaving? I don't know. So we must hear in all directions. Now, what I mean, now going on to the next part of the hearing in all directions is, remember we was talking about having conversation. Yes, I should be really 100% committed to that conversation, but I have to have that awareness level of all times too. We're sitting in a restaurant, and we do this in the ladies self-defense class because of that awareness. We're sitting in a restaurant, you're having a communication about anything, and these two guys are over here plotting against the women on how when two women, they're sitting at the next table. My brother usually does this part. He's really good at it because he'll whisper sometimes, and then he'll talk loud sometimes. Um, he'll even move a chair around closer to them. But he says trigger words that they need to pick up on. So if you're having a conversation with someone, and we don't let them quit talking, and the women love that part because they just talk, 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 talk. And then my brother's in the background, the lady in the red, whenever she leaves the table and goes to the bathroom, I'm gonna hit her over the head and drag her out to my car and I'm going to take her. Well, she may not have got all that, but there should have been some trigger words in there that she should have heard and which direction it came from. Did you catch what I said? There should be some kind of trigger word that she heard. And you should be able to tell about what direction it came from. For your safety, that's important. Okay, I'm wearing red. He said the lady in red. You're wearing blue. Okay, so the trigger word there was red. The next trigger word was hit, over the head. Man, it may hit, doesn't matter, over the head, wherever. Hit, drag, hit, drag. Those are indications in which direction and not to travel. It's also indications of things I should be looking for. If the chair slid closer during that time, that might be the time to strike because opportunity presents itself because now he moved his conversation into your territory. So the ear must listen in all directions for your safety. Okay. So now moving off of the physical aspect of that, and we could go on and on and on about listening in all directions, but it must hear in all directions. It must listen, not hear, but listen. That means listen means to adhere to. That means take in consideration, understand, um, get it in your mind, a true understanding of what's being heard. Um, must hear all directions. There's many different directions. Becca, take I-40. No, Becca, take 52. No, Becca, take number 8. No, Becca, take Interstate 57. No, Becca, take. Okay, so we're all of those have something in common, I'm sure. And the thing that it has in common is direction. Which direction are all those roads leading you to? Now, regardless of which one that you take, it's an opinion of someone else, but the object is to get you where you're going. So many people have many different opinions, but they're all are leading in that direction. And that direction is where you're wanting to go. So you must hear all these directions and decide for your best for yourself which one of these directions is best for you. I want you to do this. So, for example, now that was traveling using directions. I want you to take Interstate 40. I want you to take Interstate 52. You need to take Interstate 85. No, take number 8. It's a whole lot better. Take 47. No, take 59. It don't matter. The direction in which those roads are traveling is going to get you to your destination. Which one is best for you and which one do you feel safer traveling on? That is the direction that you may want to follow. Now, with that being said, let's put it into our training. Which direction are you going? Not what road are you taking to get there, but which direction are you going? Many people have many different roads to reach the same destination. Some go by plane, some go by car, some go by boat, some go by foot, train. There's many ways that you can get there, and they all provide the same thing, the right direction. They all provide transportation, and their all goal is to get you there safely. Which one is better for you? And what I mean by that is, okay, Rebecca, I need you to do this side block this way. No, I'll do it this way. No, we do it this way. No, they do it that way. Well, which one of those ways? None of them's wrong. None of them's wrong. I'm not saying any of them's wrong. I'm saying there are many different directions and many different avenues to get you to protect yourself with a side block. You got to figure out and don't cut somebody off because they say, well, we side block this way. We side block that way. We do it this way. We get to it from this direction. The one that saves your life the fastest is the one you need to use, but you have to listen. The ear must listen to all the directions. Do Do you catch what I'm saying there? You may have to take many paths to get to the one. You may have to incorporate some of those, each one of those directions into your side block or your punch or your kick or whatever technique you're using it to save your life with. You may have to implement a certain ingredient from every one. Everybody loves, everybody loves a pie or a cake, but there's a lot of ingredients that goes in that, and there's directions to follow. There's directions to follow. There's a certain amount of each thing. The same with your training. You've got many different masters teaching many different ways and many different formulas, all to get the student to do one thing: protect themselves. Protect themselves. So the ear must listen to all them directions. It would be nice. It would be nice. Look at all the direction that you have now compared to what you did have. We've grown to so much and so vast in knowledge that there's so much knowledge out there that a student is so blessed just to get a little bit of that ingredient. And they're going to form this thing and all that influence that you've put into them. And they're going to blossom in this nice, delicious cake, if you will, or nice protective source. We have grown over the years to many different influences. Karate, kung fu, MMA, jujitsu, all these, and I don't want to leave anybody out, but all the influences, all the directions, and they all have the same spot, the direction in which you're traveling. And that is so that you'll be able to have the tools you need to put the right ingredients into that technique to save your life. If you can use all 8 of these codes, these are directions. These codes are directions. These codes is our roadmap, if you will. There's many different ways of getting to each one of these codes. A person's balance is almost the same as weight. Things have to stay balanced in your life. You have to get things balanced. Using all of these, we talked about these on the show, but the ear must listen to all these directions. The 8th code is telling you to look above you. What did you learn through all these 8 codes? What is the ear must listen to all this? It didn't say to talk about at this time. It says you must listen. You must listen for that sound. You must listen for that. Is it music? Or is it tapping? Or is tapping music? There are many different directions, but this is your 8 directions for you to be able to defend yourself successfully in the situations that you found yourself unfortunately into. So these are your codes, these are your rules, these are your directions. The ear must listen to all of them at one time. And now you have to listen to many different influences for you to choose which one is best for you, depending on the situation. I may show you how to use a side block against a wild swing, if you will. I may show you how to use that to protect yourself. Well, when you meet like Master Jimenez, he may show you how to use that side block to strike someone in the neck and knock their head off their shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have 2 avenues, 2 different roads to protect yourself in 2 different ways. Both of those are very crucial in knowing both of those. However, if you said, well, I'm not listening to Mr. Jimenez because he's not my instructor. I've heard that before. That's fine. That's fine. But what Mr. Jimenez was telling you, what he's experienced on how you can eliminate from having to use that side block as a block. He used it as a deterrent move. You eliminated everything at one time. That's pretty good direction to me. So adhere to that direction. Hear all directions. Hear that direction. Hear your sensei's instructor's direction. Hear theirs instruction. Hear their instruction. Apply all of those ingredients into your cake. You are beneficial to have that many directions, people applying that many directions into you. They cared enough about you that they were willingly able to give you direction to save your life because they knew they couldn't be there with you because you was going to have to be the one to use it, not them. So they're trying to give you everything that they can, and you can choose which one is best for you depending on the situation. So we must hear all directions. Don't just cut somebody short because you don't like it. Well, maybe it wasn't meant for you. Maybe it was meant for the other person. By cutting them short, they may not go in further detail, and the further detail is might be what that person needed. There's something for everyone, and there's things for you too if you'll just listen. The ear must listen in all directions. Well, guys, that concludes our show for this evening, and that concludes our 8 codes of Isshinryu Karate. For the next few minutes, I want to do a question and answer. I'll still be on here talking, but I want to do some encouraging. I want to encourage you to come on to the show and share your knowledge next week's show.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be on Sunday
Well,
because
Wednesday.
it will be on Wednesday, not this coming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, because uh, Mother's Day. We want to recognize our mothers and give you time to recognize your mothers on Mother's Day, and that is their day. And I don't want to take away from that because I'm going to be spending it with my mother as well. I'm blessed to still have my mother, and I love my mother. So, Mom, if you're listening, I love you very much. And I thank you for giving me your guidance in my life. And I can't wait to see you on Sunday, this coming up Sunday. Are we going to do it this coming Wednesday, or are we going to do it the following Wednesday?
Um, I was thinking because Mother's Day is Sunday, then that Wednesday after at 8 p.m. we'll go live. We'll live stream then, and then that next weekend, due to us going to that Tennessee tournament, I know how we are after a tournament. The next day we're either sore, we're tired, we just want to chill out and rest. So instead of doing a show that Sunday, the 19th, we'll just move it to that Wednesday, the 22nd.
Okay,
And
that
then
sounds
after
good.
that, we should be back on schedule.
So we'll be doing one this coming up Wednesday, or we'll be doing one on the
Wednesday
the 15th. We'll be doing one
the
on the
15th.
15th. That will be. This is the one I want to encourage. So that'll give you time to kind of clear your schedules. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, the 15th at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we'll be going live with our roundtable. So I want to use
Yeah.
this platform to invite all the masters that are interested in coming to share your knowledge about the 8 codes and our discussion of the 8 codes with the world. Please join us. It's not going to cost you anything. We're going to build the link. All you got to do is click on it and you'll be in here. We'll put you in the studio. Just click on the link. And we want to encourage anyone to reach out to us. We can have up to 10 guests on the platform at a time. And I'd like to do a roundtable discussion about these 8 codes. And I'm going to be making some personal invites this week, see if I can't get them available. Um, hey, Paula, thanks for tuning in and watching us. But want to get them on the 15th, see if we can't get the roundtable lined up and get some other people on in the chat room, get some questions going on, and we're going to discuss these eight codes in full detail with many different directions, and we're going to listen to all the directions, just like the 8th code said, the ear must listen to all directions. So we'll do that. That'll be on the 15th at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. Definitely the 15th at 8 p.m. That next live stream after that, I think that's when we were going to go toward the dojo, I believe, for that one. So we'll wait. We might just go ahead and do that on that Sunday, but we'll
Okay.
see. We'll see. Or we
We'll
may
announce
do,
that.
we'll figure out the time for that one because we definitely want to do that one live, and we're gonna have one of our our other instructors to come in to help with that self-defense thing. So yeah,
Okay.
that's gonna be exciting.
Okay. Yeah. I can't wait for that.
So
All right, guys.
yeah,
Think you have any questions or comments, feel free to type them in the chat box here and we'll
yes,
be, but I see Master Jesus Jimenez was on here.
yes.
Hey, Jesus, thank you
Hey,
for
Jesus,
joining and tuning in.
Mr. Jesus.
Uh, just for him, I'm going to go drink some Puerto Rican coffee. Uh, and so, oh, she's already got her a batch there. So, anyway, thank you for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate you. We have finally finished our 8 codes of Isshinryu Karate. And
Yes.
Master Dan
Wow.
Price, I know you're no longer with us, but I thank you for making me this wonderful chart of the
Yes.
8 codes of Isshinryu Karate. As you can see, very proud of that. And wanted to display that tonight as a gratitude and a complimentary honor to Master Dan Price tonight, knowing that we have completed our discussion of the 8 codes of Isshinryu Karate. Um, and we look forward to seeing you right back here next on the 15th. So I said next
Yes,
Sunday.
15.
Uh, on the 15th, and we will be having a roundtable meeting with all the masters, and you'll hear other input besides mine. And that's not all my input. I just did it, downplayed it for the show. We could go in full detail. I mean, I could talk 6 weeks on the first code. So, um, because there's many different directions to travel. But thank you for traveling with us today. And I hope that this will open up your eyes and your ears to listen in all directions and see all sides right here on Isshinryu Today. God bless you guys. You're in our prayers and our thoughts. God bless you. We love you. And good night.